Hi everyone, right now is 6 p.m. and I want to go over my TBR and make some changes. I know I'm not supposed to make changes on my TBR once I've already done it, like established my TBR, but this one is for fun and I want to make some changes. I'm going to do them. So the book Call Me By Your Name is going to go for the challenge number 1 and 4. Then the book The Turn of the Screw by Henry James is going to go for the challenges 2. Then the play Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare is going for the challenges 3 and 6. And then the book of Portrait of an Alcoholic is going for the challenge number 7. And then for challenge number 5, I'm sadly not going to do it anymore because in the country where I live in, it's not the right time to be doing this challenge. So these are the 4 books I need to read in order to complete my reading rush. So far I've only finished one of them and I'm halfway through Romeo and Juliet, and I've just started Call Me By Your Name and The Turn of the Screw. My plan for today is to sit down and do a reading sprint and finish Romeo and Juliet, and then tomorrow I will do a lot of reading sprints and finish these 2 books because tonight I'm going out. So I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to read any of them. So I just finished reading Romeo and Juliet, and honestly I just loved how dramatic everyone was in that play. I really liked it, and thankfully the English wasn't too difficult for me to understand. It was a very nice read. So I'm looking at the YouTube challenges, and so far I've already done the first one, that is to make your TBR pile. I'm going to link that video in the cards in case you want to see it. And then I'm also doing a reading vlog and doing daily vlogs. I've already made a cup of coffee many times. I've already matched my outfit to a book, and I have to tell you one of my favorite book stories. Oh my god. So for my favorite book story, I've already mentioned this book many times before on my channel, but it's Just Kids by Patti Smith. I used to love reading as a kid, but then as a teenager I stopped reading. I read this book when I was 18, fresh out of high school. I was working a 9-to-5 job and all my friends were at uni and I had no idea what to do with my life. I read this book in one day and I cried so much that day. I'm really glad that I read it at the time that I read it. And then the last thing is to do the rushing to read tag. For this one I'm going to go with Just Kids by Patti Smith. I'm going to mention this book a lot in my channel, but it's just that it means so much to me, and I feel like if you read this book at the right time, it will help you in a lot of things. So the most recent one was The Cruel Prince by Holy Blood. I began that book at the beginning of 2020. I just couldn't get into it. I just think that urban fantasies are not really for me, especially YA urban fantasies. Well, I recently read The Shadow of the Wind in like 4 days, I think, and it's a pretty thick book. But something that actually surprised me is that I read the Grisha trilogy, like the 3 books, in less than 2 weeks, and that for me is impressive because I'm a slow reader. And also it was fantasy, and fantasy for me usually takes me a while. Honestly, I feel like I haven't read that many long books, but the first one that comes to my mind is Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. I love every single Harry Potter book. I don't have a favorite. I know a lot of people do. I don't. The 5th Harry Potter book is like 800 pages, I believe. So yeah, that's a long book that I love. Wait, I'm putting on lipstick and I'm going to wear a mask. That doesn't make sense. I mean, at least it's pretty. So I don't know why, but the first book that comes to mind is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shelley Jackson. I read this book last year for my nudes and I didn't like it whatsoever. But now that I think about it, I have a love-hate relationship with this book. So for me, ups and downs is like a love-hate thing. I'm going to change my earrings because I'm going to change my outfit. But the book for this question is 84 Charing Cross Road. I recently read this book, and while I was reading it, I wanted to DNF it because I wasn't really getting into it, but since it was such a short book, I tried to push it through, and also because my mom recommended this book to me, so I just wanted to read it, and the ending was very wholesome, so I was really glad I read it. So last year during the Mistake Readathon, I read Circe by Madeline Miller, and right now it's one of my all-time favorite books. Honestly, I want to be a goddess that can talk with animals and can do things with nature. And for this one I can make an entire separate video because there's so many books. Most of my favorite books are books that no one talks about, at least on the booktube community, but one that I read this year that I think more people should talk about is My Friend Anna. It's a non-fiction memoirs, and like you all know, I love memoirs.
My name, it is Maria, a merchant's daughter fair, and I have left my parents and £3,000